But here's what's crazy. So I did because you did that contest. Their contest. I did the San Francisco comedy competition,
and that was the biggie.
There was 40 contestants. I think I came in 43rd.
Okay.
Like I bombed. Yeah.
Really?
They added.
That could make or break your career back then.
I bombed. Yes. No, but out of that is how I got my audition for SNL.
Exactly. Okay.
So I didn't do anything in the contest, but an SNL recruiter saw me.
Yeah.
So what's crazy is that I was never. We went off, but I'll go back. I was just like, I consider think of it like this. Think of an egg and the yolk and the shell. There are comics that are the shell, and there are comics that are the eggs. And it's good to be both. So the egg is the wild, runny, all over the place thing that you're going to find some great stuff in at times. The shell are the people that are structured, set up, punch. They're always going to deliver. Obviously, it's good to be a combination of both. But for me, I was never that cerebral guy of like, isn't this witty? And I feel like comedy has gotten much more writer-esque, which is great, but less exciting in some ways. Where our generation, we were raised on animalistic rock stars. And that's what it is. So for me, I had a young comic a couple years ago say, man, you really went for it. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, you're really old school in your approach. It was impressive. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, you commit and you get big and you get loud and then you get quiet. And I go, so I did comedy? He's like, what's just different now? And I like these people, like, you can't be cool.
You know what's one of my pet peeves is
you get crazy
on Instagram. You'll see these new young comics, okay, and
I like jokes, but they're hard to write.
This is my pet peeve. They're promoting their show all week. So there's 100 stories. I'm gonna be at the attic on Sunset, 10 o'clock, right? Right? Okay.
Not a bad room.
Okay. So is that a real room? Hope it's not a real room. I just use it. Oh my God, you're everywhere though. I see like Jamie Kennedy. Like you'll be in like Las Vegas, headlining Caesars, and then 2 weeks later you're like at a bar in San Diego. Like I know you're amazing.
I don't know, but dude, I get
it's fun.
It's great.
It's fun.
It's a wonderful time to be alive.
It beats waiting tables. So the promoting all week. There's 100 stories going through. I'm at the attic, 10 o'clock. Then they do the show.
Yeah.
And then the post that night or the next day. No material on the post. No jokes. It's a boomerang of them on stage. It's this. I mean, are you kidding me? You did 100 posts about your show, and there wasn't 30 seconds that you're proud enough to show everybody that you're even funny. And by the way, I've seen some of those new comics. They don't have 30 seconds of funny, so they are doing themselves a favor.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
These new kids.
Wow. Dude, I love that you said that. Say it. Let it go.
A boomerang of you on stage?
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
What is that? Know what that is?
Ego stroke.
That is.
Nothing but an ego stroke.
Bro, fucking shots fired. Gloves are off. People
no more Mr. Nice Man.
People in the business will get this. People, yeah, get you. Well, you know what that is? That is, I'm letting you know that I'm doing this, but I don't want to burn this gold. This is being saved.
It's not even that. No, it's not like you and I.
Oh, that's what they're thinking. I know you and I know what it is.
No, but if you and I come up with some new material, and I did a brand new joke last night.
All right.
At stand up.
You don't have to brag.
No, the stand up comedy club in Bellflower, where you're going to be March 17th.
Yes.
I'm going to give them a plug because they're very nice,
amazing,
state of the art new club.
You, Sully.
I was there with Sully and Brian Shield, who I haven't seen in ages, and fun night. But here's the thing. Look, I'm in my 50s, and I don't even do comedy full time.
Yeah.
And I'm still writing jokes from my real life because guess what? Comedy, at the end of the day, you need to make people laugh. And the way you make people laugh is give them something they can relate to. So here's the thing, Jamie. It's new. I'm a single dad, okay? And I go to my son's basketball games. Okay?
Your wife and you divorced?
Yes,
okay.
20 years.
Right.
Did 20 years. 2 beautiful children, and we're still amicable.
That's
another episode.
You did 20.
That's another podcast. So
you did 20.
I go to my boys' games. Parents, this is right up your alley, you know. Parents are yelling at the referees like it's the NBA Finals, right? They're yelling at the referees. They're taking all this abuse. Now, I go to my son's game.
This is hoops?
This is hoops.
High school?
High school.
Your kids got your handles?
Yeah, they're good.
Because you have handles. Okay.
I can't believe you remember that. Did we ever play? Or you just...
I played a little bit, but you had handles. You were terrible on defense because you would never let anyone dribble. You're a menace.
How do you know that?
You're a menace, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, we used to play.
No, we used to ball
Yeah.
down in Santa Monica with Ross Mark and a bunch of people. And
Yeah.
I played at Beeman Park with Adam Sandler and
Yeah.
Charlie Schlatter in
Yeah.
the early 90s.
Wow, yeah.
And then we go to
Adam is
Dupar's.
incredible, as you know, but
He still loves
Slatter
to
had a
play.
sneaky game, too.
Adam's but he'll push you like he's offensive foul all day when he's dribbling. All right, shots fired at Sandler.
Jesus Christ, you're not getting Paul Blart
Love
5.
Sandman. Okay, so but we used to play at Beeman Park,
Yeah.
Studio City, and then go to Dupar's. Good old days.
Yeah.
Now, my son's game, parents are yelling at referees and all. So I go to the game last week. Cute female referee. Cute.
You allowed to say that?
Yeah. Cute female. Attractive. Can I say that? Attractive
I think so.
female referee. So
You're assuming her gender.
I'm yelling at the referee now.
Got it.
I'm like, Deborah, that was an excellent call. My son was traveling. He thinks it's a European step. Yeah, it's traveling. Tee him up if he gives you any lip. Deborah, pizza party at Shakey's after the game.
Shakey's. Shakey's.
It's a cute outfit. Foot Locker.
So what happened?
Anyway,
Did you get any?
I'm selling out my son to get a date with the female rep.
Wow. Did she even
That's
look
real
your
life
way?
comedy.
That's hilarious.
That's real life comedy, yeah.
Wow.
So
So the boomerang, if that was,
Yeah, no,
if you
like,
did it, you wouldn't have put that in the boomerang.
Well, I just feel like the idea when you were starting out was to write funny. Like it was a competition. Even when I went to Jerry's Deli, like we used to go late night, even during the Wayans days when I was writing with the Wayans. Like there was not a night that we weren't somewhere. Kate Manalini's and closing the place with Damon and Sean and Keenan writing jokes at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
After everything else we did, it didn't matter. Like that's when we got like crazy, right? And come up with ideas and bits. And what happened with me was I was at the Improv one night, did a spot, heard all these guys laughing in the back, laughing like your friends laugh, like like that. So I get off stage and Chris Bencher's like, "Hey, these guys want to meet you. They just got here from New York. They're doing a show in Living Color." And so I walked to like the back corner. And it was Damon and Sean and Marlon at that time that were in the club, like and like, hey, you're funny.
You didn't meet Damon and you didn't meet Sean and Marlon yet.
No, this is the first time. I was at
Okay.
the Improv, and they were in the back of the club and checking out comics, and like, hey, you're funny. We're gonna go to this other club. You should come. And like, you're a good writer. They say, are you a writer? I'm like, nah, man. I'm gonna be the next Michael J. Fox. I'm gonna get a sitcom. I don't want to write. Like, no, you're a good writer. So then started hanging out with them, and I watched the set. And Damon was like the funniest thing, literally funniest comic working in the 90s. Like he was doing OJ stuff before anybody would even think about it. Like he was really doing funny OJ stuff. He did a Magic Johnson joke when Magic had AIDS. He did stuff that He's like this would be me playing if I was in the NBA. This is me if I'm covering Magic. Oh shoot! Oh damn, Magic! Oh wow! You're too fast, man. Like he was making jokes about not getting HIV before anybody would said it was okay.
Yeah.
He was so brave and so funny, and we were in awe of him.
Yeah.
And this is when he was doing specials and crushing it. And so I get some ideas. That's a good idea. And so you guys, you should write. So then when Sean and Marlon got Wayans Brothers at WB.
It was this. I want to say it was the first or second series ever greenlit at the WB.
Yeah, I think it was. When we were shooting, so I ended up.
I think it was the first.
They basically said, "Look, they gave us these writers, studio writers. They don't know us, I guess. So they would get me and Chris and Alex Thomas, and we would write jokes under the table for them.
Mm-hmm.
They'd pay us under the table,
Yeah.
to punch up the scripts.
Yeah.
And then eventually we got staff jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Because they say, okay, you guys, they said, we want to hire some writers. We'll give you 3.
Yeah.
Give you 2, and that's how it worked. And so that's how I got in, was at first they didn't have an opening and I was just punching up. And then they called over and they said, we're looking for joke writers for Kenan for the new late night show. So that was my first Writers Guild job, was writing monologue jokes for Kenan on the Kenan Ivory Wayans show in '99.
Really?
And then I worked with Wayans Brothers, and then my wife and kids, and then I ended up working with Wayne Brady, which was a total different kind of thing because Wayne doesn't like to do jokes. He likes to do performance stuff.
Yeah.
And he would say, "Don't give me a joke. I want to tell you what I think is funny, and then we'll." And so he was so like I could just say, he said, "Oh, I was taking care of my baby. Miley was a baby when we were on the show. I was taking care of my baby, and I feel like I'm taking care of a drunk person, a drunk friend at a bar.
Yeah.
Don't fall, and don't drink that." And I go, "That's hilarious." And he's like, "Yeah, but I don't want to do it like a joke." No problem. So we would work on it, and then Wayne, you just give him like 3 things.
Yeah.
He would remember everything.
Yeah.
He was like Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Like, he just remembered, and then he'd go out, and then like he would hit sometime in that 2 minutes, he would hit all 3 of those things, but in his own way, and that's how you write, funny stuff for Wayne. And then the musical guests, I would work on that show today if I could. Donna Summer, Outkast, Michael McDonald, Joe Cocker, because it's a daytime variety show.
Yeah.
Music from all, so I'm meeting like my musical idols, and it was an amazing time. It was a great show.
How many years you working that?
That was like a full season. So that was a season where the show got nominated for an Emmy and lost to a first season new show called Ellen. Imagine that.
Wow. Dude, you know what's crazy is you're such a good performer.
Oh, I appreciate that.
No, but you're an incredible performer and you're a great writer. Like I said, you're the whole egg. And so it's crazy how much you write. I mean, you're great at it, but did you go, "Ooh, I got to get in front of the camera more"? And I know you always were, but were you like, "No, I got to be my own headliner," or when you were writing for people?
When I was writing, it was a very competitive world because not only are you trying to please the show stars but everyone's competing to get rehired.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very cutthroat and all that. But one of the things I was proudest of early as a writer was that I know you saw this sketch, but you didn't know I wrote it. I guarantee you saw this sketch, but you didn't know I wrote it. Sean and Marlon, after I don't know if it was Scary Movie or it was 2000. So I think it was when Scary Movie exploded.
It was probably for MTV.
MTV Video Music Awards.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to host it, and this is when music was. I'll tell you who was at that show, so you know what music was performing live. Blink 182,
Mm-hmm.
Britney Spears,
Mm-hmm.
Christina Aguilera,
Mm-hmm.
Eminem,
Wow.
Janet Jackson,
Wow.
all in the same show.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I remember, bro.
Okay, now we're writing on the show in New York. Okay, and we're pitching ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and every award show they have that. We're now going to take a moment to pay respects to those that are no longer with us, and they do that in memoriam of the artist, right?
Yep.
So I pitched this sketch where Sean and Marlon come out with the candles, somber, and say, "We're now going to pay special respects to those artists that are no longer with us." And then we roll the clips, and it's all the one-hit wonders. Gerardo. Tiffany.
Wow.
The Macarena guy.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Vanilla Ice, right? And the Kid and Play, we're doing the dance. And so they laughed out loud as soon as I pitched it and read it. And so what happened to me was Damon saw the MTV video and he said, "Who wrote that sketch?" And Sean and Marlon always give credit to writers. And that was Bruce, Little Bruce. They call me Little Bruce. And so I end up getting an interview, and then I get another job, really good job. So with Damon. So, people were very competitive, but it worked well because it made you better.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But you went more.
But you laughed at that sketch that I wrote 22 years ago.
Yeah.
So
it's funny now.
It's funny.
It's timeless.
It's not-
But
I'm sure it's been ripped off since at someone, but that was OG. That was real deal right there.
Yeah, but you wrote on shows. Were you touring as when you were writing?
Oh, the best life was when I was writing on shows, and then we'd shoot on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and then take off and do Wayans Brothers Comedy Tour on the weekends.
Yeah.
I toured with Sean. We did every club that
Yeah.
the Tampa Improv. Yeah. And at one point, when they started their own company, I was the booking agent, the road manager,
Okay.
and the opening act.
Wow.
And that's a whole nother podcast. The club owners hated me because Sean would tell me all the stuff that he thought he was being ripped off on.
Which is a lot.
And so I was calling them out on it. And also, I was at the radio stations. I was opening the show, so they couldn't lie. They couldn't say, "Yeah, we had 40 comps." I'm like, "No, I was at the radio station. We gave out 5."
Yeah.
So it's 35 times $40. You're ripping my my boss off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. They only know how to rip off. Club owners only know how to rip off. So
Yeah.
it was like I was like their worst.
It's getting
nightmare.
harder now.
I was their worst nightmare. You know, I was a comedian and a businessman. Like what? It doesn't happen. Like, you know, you're supposed to be in a desk in L.A. and I just tell you what I want to tell you and I hang up. Like, you know. So, but it was when MySpace first was. Dane was doing the MySpace thing, and I told them, I said, look at Dane Cook, what he's doing, we need to do. And I found out about those bots that you could send out that would send it to women 18 to 25 that are 3 miles from the club, and then send a promo out, and it would just hit 5,000.
Did you know how to do? I never had to do those bots.
I figured this stuff out. You just bought it.
Wow.
No pun intended. And yeah, it was insane. So that was like when we started doing all that road stuff, and then I, you know, I said, look, merch. They all want to meet you. Let's do merch. It's like, and Sean took merch to the next level.
Yeah.
He had stuff made, and then they all want to meet him. You know, meet and greet. And then at a certain point, I think we said, there's no meet and greet without like a purchase. Like you buy something, then you get the meet and greet, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, you can't sit there talking to someone about their grandmother and their favorite episode of the show for 20 minutes.
Don't
while
do
people
it.
are waiting to like really, you know,
People
they
will
want
do
stuff.
it.
Yeah. You know, so anyway, so yeah, good times. And then the business aspect, again, I went to school for business, right, at BU. So it did come full circle. And then 10 years ago, I started my family business is, you know, life insurance planning and financial planning. I started helping the people in the business
You're doing that
for 10 years.
as your side thing?
That's like my 80% of my day.
Really?
Yeah. I have like 200 clients, Jamie.
Wait a minute.
20,
so you're
20 that you know.
you're doing what? Your
I am
estate
licensed
planning?
I am licensed for life, health, and disability insurance, annuities.
But what about you're writing and you're still performing?
I got some projects. I got some exciting things happening. But listen, in between the green lights,
Yeah.
I work.
Wow. Where
I
do you
work
live
for a
at?
living. I'm not like
Where do you live at? Encino?
yeah, I'm in the Valley Encino. I love. I came back full circle to LA Cabaret. That's where it is.
It's crazy.
But I've always lived in the 818.
You love the
great.
Valley.
Yeah, man, I do.
You do love the Valley.
You used to go to the late night yogurt place with Al Berman back in the day. Yups Yogurt. On
I love,
Richmond Boulevard.
dude.
remember
Yups
it.
is the spot.
Yups was a spot.
Wow.
Mike, Pakistani guy named Mike.
Yes.
It was late night frozen yogurt, and
Yups.
he was the only one. He was the only game in town back
Yeah. This is pre-Pinkberry.
then. Mm-hmm.
Dude, think about what you're saying. Jerry's Deli,
Mm-hmm.
the institution. I think the only one left is in South Beach. Which is crazy.
There's none in LA, which is it really is good because you would go and
This is the
and
crime.
you would see rock stars eating chicken soup. You know, seriously, like the guys from Kiss would be there eating matzo ball soup. You would see comedians. You
Yeah.
would see writers working on screenplays that had like.
Dude, I went to Cantor's the other night, and I could only get takeout at midnight. It's just crazy.
Because you.
They don't stay open.
They won't,